evening. Thank you for joining me, app users. We've got a somewhat of a winter storm that's going to be moving in tomorrow evening. We've got a few snow flurries that'll be possible and some snow showers up around the Boone area this evening. Well, late, maybe midnight around Boone, and then early into tomorrow morning. Don't really think much accumulation from this first onset around the Asheville area, but up around Boone we could see a few inches of snow on this first thump. But what I'm mainly watching is the potential for freezing rain, and so we'll turn around. We've got the most recent NAM 3km up, and you can see as that precipitation will stream in over the next few hours. This model shows some snow around Boone and really enhances that, but not around Asheville. That tongue of precipitation is more northern oriented and into Virginia and West Virginia. And so you can see as that first little thump of precipitation moves through, nothing too significant around the Asheville area and southwest. That cold air funnels in, and some freezing rain is possible, and some sleet here in the foothills and in the Piedmont area. So that cold air wedge funnels in and keeps those surface temperatures a little bit cooler, and but those upper level temperatures are problematic for snowfall accumulation. If they're going to be, if you look here, they're going to be around 3 to 4 degrees Celsius at the 850 millibar level, and that will melt those snowflakes. What keeps this as a freezing rain look is at 950 millibar or 925 millibar, which we'll pull up right here. I'll show you. You can see these temperatures at around 4,000 feet are negative 3 degrees Celsius, which is around 25 degrees, 25, 26 degrees. And that is somewhat, that will either cool those raindrops down. I apologize. Cool those raindrops down, and the surface. Let me pull up the surface temps. Will be around 30, 31. That's what this model is showing. Another model, the RG or the Canadian, the short range Canadian model, is showing temperatures a little bit cooler than this. Around. So we'll run the surface temperatures out. You can see. We get it. This model shows 28, 29 at Asheville Airport. Warmer as you get into Asheville. This cold air is funneled in all the way up from the north and banks up against the Blue Ridge. And, it's just a really tough call to tell you if this freezing rain is actually going to accrete. If temperatures do, sometimes this model is a little bit too cold on temperatures, and so I'm thinking if the freezing rain falls at 31. It's not going to stick to anything. But if your temperatures, Saturday night, late Saturday night, and into Sunday are dropping into the 20s, then this rain that's coming in is going to be problematic. I mean, the mid-levels will warm it some, but surface temperatures at 27 or 28 are going to be different than surface temperatures at 30 and 31. And it's going to be a whole different scenario. I think that locations in Henderson County will be a lot more likely to see this freezing rain potential and this ice accretion compared to Buncombe County. The farther south you go in Buncombe County, that cold air will infiltrate all the way down. It gets stuck on these higher peaks. You can see, Mount Mitchell blocks it from getting back here, and Mount Pisgah blocks it from getting. And these higher peaks along the Blue Ridge or escarpment, 6,000 foot peaks on the Blue Ridge Parkway there that you can drive on. Those all block that warm air, that cold air from making it down here into Silva, into Andrews, into Franklin, and that doesn't allow that cold air to move in. So here's what happens. Here's what this model shows happening. We'll go back to it again and run it through. About a quarter inch of freezing rain in Buncombe County proper, a quarter to a half inch in Haywood, or I'm sorry, Henderson County, not Haywood, Henderson. Maybe a quarter inch in Haywood. It's really a tough call. Hang on one second. I've got my projection map here that I produced today. You can see it's really a tough call. I think the snow is going to come on the backside for these areas to the south and west of Asheville, and even somewhat north. Farther into Boone, we're going to see some accumulation with this front end, and that will be somewhat of a focus. That's why I have in the 4 to 8. So just kind of give you a general idea of my thoughts. Thinking we'll see a little bit more ice down here in Henderson County compared to downtown Asheville, but really tough call. Let me show you what this RGEM. This is they call it RDPS, but this is the short range Canadian model. Let me show you what this runs through. So this model shows a little bit of snow for even Madison, Mitchell, Yancey County in the morning. So don't be surprised if you wake up to a dusting or so, and or some snow flurries falling if you live in those locations. This is just, like I said, just a really tough call. So we'll run this through, and then I'll show you what the radar's showing, because some of this moisture is already moving into the area. So you can see as we progress through the day, RGEM, or Short Range Canadian Model, they call it RDPS, builds in, and that cold air wedge. Let me pull up a sounding. So this is kind of technical, but you can see these. This shows a surface temperature of 29. Here's the 0 degree line that goes through the atmosphere. This line shows you what the precipitation is going to go through as it falls through the atmosphere. So it's all frozen as it falls through, way 500 millibars all the way down to 700 millibars. And then there's a warm nose. There's where the warm nose comes in. And that freezing line goes right here, but you can see there's 1-2 degrees of above freezing. And then it drops back down here as it gets to the surface at 29 degrees. So an interesting drop there. That's that cold air wedging in. You can see that warm nose pushing in. It's just that constant battle that occurs. And this is what makes meteorology so difficult, because these charts change on a frequent basis, and 28, 27 compared to 31, 32 is an entirely different world. And this warm nose, if it's 4 degrees, if it's 5 degrees Celsius, how strong is it coming up from the Gulf? What this model's showing is not as significant as what other models are showing. So do we key in on this model? This model actually hasn't been doing as well recently with Western North Carolina storms. So we tend to not give it as much credence and credit, want to focus on. I'll show you. Let me pull up some soundings from the NAM, and we'll show you the difference at this same point in time. You can see much more pronounced warm nose, and surface temperature at that same location 31 compared to 29. That's going to do that warm nose will warm that frozen snowflake. So the frozen snowflake, if this is falling as snow throughout the atmosphere all the way down to 700 millibars, then at 800 or so millibars, there's that warm nose of cold air, or there's that warm nose of air coming up from the Gulf, and as it penetrates in, it's fighting against that high pressure that's funneling in that cold air at the surface. And that cold air reaches just under it, and that battle just continues to happen as this system moves through. But it comes back up right as you get to the surface, because that cold air is not reaching. It's blocked off at somewhere. So right around 3,000 feet on the Blue Ridge escarpment, I think that especially along the Blue Ridge Parkway, is definitely going to be really icy late tomorrow night into Saturday. And but like I said, this is just a really difficult forecast. I put out my map. There's medium confidence in it. I'm probably not going to update it, but we'll keep doing updates to let you guys know what exactly is going on. And thinking that we'll see some backside snow showers, maybe Sunday night into Monday. Do another update to let you guys know on that, but that's where my snowfall totals come from. So thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys learned a little bit about how we do meteorology, and I really appreciate all your support, and thank you for joining me.